a tour of Manila and the different historical sites that we have here. Our first stop on the tour will be Nielsens Tower, which is the first principal airport for Manila, and that's located in Makati. Here we see what today is considered the front of Nielsens Tower. At the time it was built, that would have been the rear, and this would have been the front of the air terminal. Okay, here we're looking at the control tower, and from this view we're looking at Paseo de Rojas, and this is the other end of the control tower, which would have overlooked Ayala Avenue. Those were the two runways that Manila used at that time. And here you can see there's a small museum downstairs that's dedicated to Mr. Nielsen. He's the individual who built this airport. And in fact, he borrowed money to do it. He had a vision that this could be something great for Asia, and he was correct. It's Manila International Airport today resides here. Okay, our second stop on the tour will be the American Cemetery and Memorial. This is a really beautiful cemetery. It's located in Fort Bonifacio, and it's located right outside of Forbes Park. Here we see some of the grave sites. Again, everyone that we bring out here, the first comment that they make is just how beautiful this area is. Here we see one of the memorial walls, and on these walls will be listed the thousands of names of the young men and women who died in the various wars throughout the Asian theater. Here we see the chapel, and every day at 12 o'clock bells play different types of music from here. And here we get a really nice look at just how beautiful the lawns and gardens are, and just how well maintained it is. The names listed on the walls also include Philippine scouts who stood with the Americans to defend the Philippines. So a lot of Filipinos died in the different wars that took place throughout Asia. Here we see the different maps. Now, within the memorial, there are many different maps like this that show the different wars that took place. They also account for the number of individuals that were killed during those wars, and they sort of lay out a strategic plan that they used in order to defend the Philippines and ultimately win its liberation. One of the things you can expect to see when you're out here at the cemetery is they're always working on the buildings and the memorials to keep them clean. That you can see the scaffolding here to the side. That's what they're doing. They're actually cleaning the walls. And here we see the inside of the chapel, which it's really beautiful. A lot of time and effort went into to creating this. So here we get an overall view of the grounds, and you can also see some of the city of Fort Bonifacio here in the background from behind the trees there. But again, this is a part of the tour that everyone that we bring here, they really enjoy it. They walk away, I think, with a deeper appreciation for what it took for the Philippines actually to gain its own independence. Our next stop on the tour will be Luneta Park. It's also referred to by many as Rizal Park. And here you'll see some beautiful gardens and a lot of different statues that depict the life and times of Dr. Jose Rizal. This is located on Rojas Boulevard, which is not far from the U.S. Embassy. Here we get an overall view of the grounds, and you can see just how beautiful and well maintained they are. Okay, also within Luneta Park is a beautiful shrine set up in memory of Dr. Jose Rizal. And here we see part of that. Once you cross over this bridge that you see here, you'll come to this wall, and on the wall it depicts different events, important events that took place in his life. Here we see Dr. Jose Rizal. He was a doctor, a scholar, treating somebody, but each one of these, like this one, shows him being sentenced to his execution. And when you're in this park, you'll see a lot of different things like that. This statue depicts Dr. Jose Rizal actually sitting in his prison cell writing his last farewell. And here we see him being handcuffed and being led out to his execution, which was brutal to say the least. In this static theater, you'll see they have these stones where you can sit and look out into the park or the memorial and just really see through these statues. They're trying to show you what it was like for him to be alone and to be executed. Actually, he was shot in the back. Also located in the park is the Chinese Gardens. And again, these are very beautiful gardens. If you're into photography, this is a great park to come to and to take pictures. There's a lot to see here. It's very quiet. It's a great place to come, and you can have lunch under the awnings here. And they have a beautiful statue here of Confucius. Okay, our final stop on the tour will be the city of Intramuros, and we'll go to the Fort Santiago. Here we're at the garden area, which is located at the entrance. It's really beautiful also. All these parks are very well maintained. And, if you're coming to Manila and you're going to be here for a few days, we would really encourage people to come and just take a look. It's a great opportunity to learn some of the history of Manila. It's a city with really a great and rich history. Here we see some of the buildings that were bombed and destroyed during the various wars that took place in Manila and around the Philippines actually at that time. We see some of the large guns, the cannons that were used, and also they have different mortars that are still here. Yeah, here we see some of the mortars that were used in some of the different cannons, and we see an old cannon here. And again, water fountains throughout the park, very well maintained, very beautiful. Okay, here we're looking at Fort Santiago. This is where Dr. Jose Rizal was held prisoner, and he was led from here and executed. Again, you'll see all the different ruins within this park area. This entire area, most of Intramuros, the city of it, was destroyed, including Casa Manila, and different churches were badly damaged during the wars. Okay, here we're inside the museum that is dedicated to the life and time of Dr. Jose Rizal. And here we see some of the medical books and some other books that he had prior to his death. Here you'll see different clothes, different fashions that were worn by the ladies at that time. It's a very beautiful museum, again, and it's well kept, well maintained. This coat is actually belonged to Dr. Jose Rizal. Now these are the different prison cells that are located up here on top of the Balarte. This area is called the Balarte. Okay, Dr. Jose Rizal would have been kept here. These are the dungeons. You can read about this here, but ammunition and things were kept in them until later in the war when they were used actually for prisoners. And here, this is what it would have been like for a prisoner to look up, to be in a dungeon and look up, and that's what you would have seen. Now this is the original prison cell that Dr. Jose Rizal was held in just a few days prior to his execution. This man was a small man with a very huge heart, and he loved the Filipino people, no doubt about that. And he was led from this jail cell, and they depict here with these brass footplates his last steps prior to his death. And what's really interesting, and it's also beautiful, is the memorial that they have, and it shows here how he was executed. This great man was shot in the back. Okay, that pretty much concludes our tour for the old and new, but we highly encourage you to come and visit Manila and take this tour.